At the garden. Alright, we should be live here.
Did you just make a Madison Square Garden reference?
It is a Run the Jewels reference. Run the Jewels
What
live
is-
at the garden.
What is Run the Jewels reference?
It is a Run the Jewels. Something is playing audio in the background. Run the Jewels live at the garden. It's Mixer. Alright, what was your question? What's Run the Jewels?
Yes.
Oh, it is a rap duo of Killer Mike and LP.
I don't know any of these names.
I would highly recommend, it's for free on their YouTube channel. I would listen to RTJ2, which is their second album. I think that is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It is an outstanding album from front to back. Alright, we are live on everything.
Yay.
Oh, I need to tweet it out.
I feel weird now because my camera's so much higher up.
Yeah.
Like, it feels weird having it look down at me.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think this setup is exactly conducive to having it point at me in a more normal way.
Yeah, unless you, like, raise your chair up, but then you'll be, like, dangling your feet off.
It's as high as it can go.
Oh, yeah. Put some books under you.
Yeah, because with a chair with wheels, that's not going to be a problem at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I already have cardboard on the floor just to make sure I don't create too much sound. Because apparently when a chair has wheels and you're on a hardwood floor, it can be problematic.
That's true.
That's why I never put it down there, because you can see the edges of the ugly room.
Oh, yeah.
And to change that, it has to go all the way off to this side.
J Vengeance, you're right. Hi there, Barbed Wire, and hi there, J Vengeance. I will be right back. I have to go grab something real quick that J Vengeance sent me. I'll be right back.
Oh, is it a chicken hat?
It might be. I'll be right back.
I know all hungry, hungry friends. Actually, I believe we talked a couple of weeks ago, and he said he was less hungry. Not sure how I feel about this new camera. Because the problem is, if I angle it down, see, you get to see the horrible, horrible mess, which is the room behind the curtain. See, it's down there now. There's no winning. There is no winning. Oh, actually, I'm just because I have the live stream on a delay. Thank you, phone. It doesn't look like you can see the corners of my camera from the crop that Boston does. So maybe that'll be okay. Hello.
I remembered exactly where it was. J Vengeance sent me this.
Nice, dude.
It even has little guys on it. I unfortunately can't wear it for very long because it's very hot, and I look dumb.
It can join my present to Boston, which is sitting in the background right by his right-hand arm.
Yes. Well, I don't think they can see it on the stream, but
no,
I don't know
cannot.
if I've worn that on the show proper. Oh, I know we wore it on T-Bomb R.
Yes, we did.
That's for sure.
Right before Christmas.
Moon, I love the Jet Set Radio cosplay. There we go.
Oh, thanks, Jimbo. It's mostly because I'm not comfortable with how the new camera exposes my balding spot. Good job, Jay, though. On the losing of the weight, like, fucking really good job.
5 stones a lot, too. Good job.
Yeah. But yeah, Jimbo, it happened. Long story short, it's not actually because I'm balding, it's because I lost too much weight too quickly, which damages your hair follicles, something I didn't know until after I'd already lost all of the weight.
Oh.
So basically you will notice, like, I will actually show you, expose the baldness for what it is, which normally it doesn't bother me, but this camera, this light, it's not very flattering. But I'll show you the thickness of the back of my head, and then I'll show you the top. like super duper thick back here. Like literally, I would struggle to run a comb through it, and then if I turn around, you can see right here. Like it just completely thinned out at the top because of the the weight loss. Now I can fix that with hair stuff. I don't know what it's called over here. What is it called?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a tablet that people take to grow their hair back, but apparently it does work because other people I have talked to who have had the same issue as I have, where they have had the hair thinning because of weight loss. They said they took it. It's a generic thing. Anybody who's going bald takes it.
Is it Rogaine?
Yes, that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, it works like a charm for when you suffer from this issue, which is just literally damaging your body through losing weight too quick.
That's crazy. I didn't know that could happen.
But yeah, I didn't even think of the Jet Set Radio stuff until you said so. Thank you, Jimbo.
That's great.
I will now make this my new gear. Hoodie with the headphones on over the top.
Yeah.
Next week, N7 hoodie. Oh wait, no, I can't put that hoodie up because that hoodie's got like this. I got the N7 jacket for myself for Christmas, and it's the like extreme version of it. Good news is it keeps me warm. The bad news is when I put the hood up, like when the hood's down, it's great because it folds out and you can see the N7 logos on the inside, and it folds down really well. When you put it up, the zip goes up to about here.
Oh,
and
wow.
That can be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, that's intense.
Oh, thanks for that, Super Hungry, as well, by the way. You have the same hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the UK version of it's called because I never actually bothered looking into it until like recently. But yeah, it's part of the downside of having a camera mounted high and a light behind that shining directly onto where my hair is at its thinnest.
Oh. Just like a perfect storm.
I've had a barber make a comment to me, like the barbers. Like when I first got my hair cut in Webster, like I was like, look, I just want it trimmed. It's really long. I'm approaching the time when I'll get my job permit, so just, give me a haircut. I want it trimmed down to a normal, like, shorter length. And, like, I think it was a trainee and a trainer because they started whispering something to each other, and I was like, you don't have to whisper. I'm aware that my hair is thin on the front. You don't have to pretend like it doesn't exist.
I'm a big boy here.
Yeah.
Moon and I were talking offline about some news I got about my cat when I took him to the vet yesterday, but I forgot to mention today, we got him a harness and a leash because the vet was saying, well, he has arthritis. The easiest thing is just like get him out walking around in the backyard. It'll get him away from the other cat who likes to pick on him every once in a while. So I took him out on the leash today, and he hated it until he realized, hey, I can walk around outside. He literally sprinted off the patio to get to the grass, just face first started eating grass like crazy. The only thing I'm worried about is it makes a lot of cats throw up when they eat grass, and he sleeps on my blankets and my pillow during the day. I'm really worried in a couple hours I'm going to go in there for bedtime, and it's going to be a horror scene.
I'd say between post-show and hanging with Mr. Boston, maybe go have a glance.
Exactly.
Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, I might have to do a bunch of laundry.
That's going to go poorly.
Yeah. He's sleeping in a patch of sun in the bedroom right now, so hopefully I'm okay. Hey there, Coach Jamal.
Bonjour. I will get the notification that you said hello at some point. My thing is way delayed. Hey, there you are. Hey, Coach Jamal.
Oh, hey.
That's how long it takes.
Alright, we'll give it another minute or so here, and then we'll get started. I think I captured everything on my what you've been playing list. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for me. I'm not gonna lie, it did tickle me a little bit to see Adrian tweeting you about Danganronpa. my weeaboo friend from Japan. Hey, Adrian, I know you'll never listen because you don't like podcasts.
We won't take it personally.
No. But yeah, you tweeting about Danganronpa and him being like, dude, how are you doing this so quickly? It was like so good to me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's two guys who should probably know each other based on their common shared interests.
Our shared interests of
visual novels and Japan stuff.
Yeah, visual novels, Japan stuff, and reading in general.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I don't even think I really watched anything this week. I don't really have a lot of time this week. We were talking about it offline, but my daughter is growing, having more molars come in, is going through a growth spurt, and is going through a developmental leap. So I sort of have a bit of a... I love her very much. Baby's being a bit of a turd this week. Jim O'Jangles asks, have you tried the Mummy Demastered yet, Moon?
No, not yet, but watched the show yesterday for good news. Yeah,
I'm actually totally forgot about it. I'm going to go download it now.
Yes, Jimbo, I don't know if you're a Patronus or not, but yeah, Mummy Demastered is this month's Game Club game, so
yep.
I will be playing it, probably starting either tonight or tomorrow.
Crap, I can't buy it. I don't remember the 3 digits on the back of my credit card.
Just announce them on the live stream like I did with your cell phone number.
There you go. Good times.
Oh, that's nothing. I posted Donnie's address to Twitter, so...
I like that you're just covering everybody.
Oh, yeah. In my defense, it was when I lived in England and I wanted him to know I was sending him something cool, so I sent him a photo of the envelope, and then I think it was actually Tooth immediately pointed out, dude, just so you know, that's Donnie's full address.
Oh, and you're like, oh.
At that time, I believe my account was private, so right. It was right around the time of Giant Bomb's China Don't Care fad, so I took down the photo and then just put a China flag over his address.
Right. Those were good times.
Yeah, I've got an incredible habit of forgetting like that, because I spent most of my life with my shit on lockdown.
Yeah,
because I love my sister, but she has got a tendency to stalk me. If you're watching this at any point, Michelle, you know you do, so don't fucking complain. But she's got a tendency to, like, she will go back and she will start watching this show from the very first episode I was on. Like,
right.
That's kind of the way she does it. Don't lie, you know you do. Don't lie. I'm covering my bases in case she actually watches this.
Right.
But I have that shit on lock because, you know, sometimes you've got your private thoughts you want to express with nobody saying shit to you. So that's what I did, and now I'm unlocked and everything is much more open. I'd say a lot less now because of that. But
right.
It's one of those things where it's like, I forget sometimes that I don't have my shit on lockdown anymore. So it's like, oh no, just everybody can see this now.
Right. Have you gotten a lot more followers since you've joined the show?
Not so much, because to be honest, I think I was already following most of the listeners from the show, and vice versa. Because I mean, before I jumped in, I was already like, what I think my first ever mention on the show was like 2007, something like that.
Yeah.
So
pretty early on.
That's a long time.
Yeah. All right, you ready to kick this thing off here?
Yep.
I think we're ready. All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpeer.
Hello.
Real quick piece of news here at the beginning. You'll notice Knobs is not here again. Reason for that is the show's undergoing some changes here, and I've asked Knobs to sort of step out of the show. First off, I want to thank him for the last 8 years of being on the show. It's the majority of the lifetime of this show. But the show needs to go through some changes, and we will definitely go through some growing pains here as we lose a staff member, as the show always does. But we're gonna keep with it and bounce back. And I understand if you're disappointed by that, and I understand if you want to stop listening or you want to take a break for a while. I certainly appreciate that, and I hope if you do leave that maybe you come back and try us again a little bit in the future. But if you want to be mad at somebody, don't be mad at Knobs. Certainly don't be mad at Moonpier. You can be mad at me. It was my decision at the end of the day. But if you decide not to listen anymore, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. But if you decide to hang around, I think the show's going to be better long term after we get over some of the stumbling blocks we have here, and once we get settled in. And I think it's going to be all good stuff. So as always, you guys are the best community on the internet, and I appreciate you listening or watching. If you're watching live streaming or watching YouTube. We did do the Game Club recap episode yesterday for Ziggurat, and at the very end of it, we announced our latest Patreon chosen game, which is The Mummy Demastered, which is one of the more recent, more recently released picks we've had in a while.
Yep. Thank you, Jimbo.
Yes. And I think Moon and I are both sort of chomping at the bit to play this. So it's pretty fortuitous here. So it's available on PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch, if I remember correctly.
I believe it is, yeah. I know that got my vote when it came to the Patreon vote, so... Yeah.
Moon himself is a patron. You can become a patron at patreon.com/E1M1. Get cool behind-the-scenes stuff.
Get that plug in there.
Yeah, I mean, you can join now and hang out with me for Hanging with Mr. Boston tonight, where I hang out with you guys and gals and edit the show and talk about behind-the-scenes podcast stuff. Once again,
never forget early access. Never forget early access to T-Bomb R as well.
Yep, my handwritten show notes, which sometimes are readable, most times are not.
No, they're not. Come on.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. I should start scanning. Maybe I'll scan them tonight. That'll be a fun experiment. And I think I forgot to mention, over our holiday break for the show, I was a guest on Irrational Passions Game of the Year stuff. They brought a bunch of people around for some roundtables for the best games of 2017, and they invited me for the Nier Automata roundtable. You can find that at irrationalpassions.com. They sort of have a whole thing about the top 10. You should go listen to their other stuff. It's all really good. But that one I was on, and we talked pretty spoilery for a little bit over an hour. That was a pretty good conversation, getting a lot of different viewpoints about one of 2017's best games. Not TVGP's best game. That was obviously Prey. But
yes,
All right. Enough with all that. I think that's all of our business out of the way. So let's start with Moonpier. What have you played this past week?
Well, we'll start with the ever-popular PUBG.
Mm-hmm.
That game is really, really good. It's gonna get to the point where it's gonna hit the Left 4 Dead status, where it's like, yeah, I played more PUBG this week.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many I always get confused on this word, superlatives you can throw towards the game, because it has its issues. It's broken. It's not an actual full release yet. That's fine. Whatever.
And to be fair, it's still broken on PC too. Like it's not super optimized. It's just a little rough.
Yeah, well, much like Alpha Protocol, the roughness kind of adds to its charm a little bit. But the game is fun. I think I started the week with a powerhouse, with just like a duos match with me and my wife playing.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I playing just a quick duos match. And I think I mentioned last week how I'm not great at that game. I think I'm, generally speaking, I'm probably the weakest link in any team. Like when I'm in the squad, I'm probably the weak one. Not with my wife. We were SEAL Team 2, just running around, killing everything, shout-outs, call-outs, movement over there.
Jeez.
We took winner, winner, chicken dinner,
Nice.
With I had 5 kills, she had 4, so that means that we killed a lot of people. Like that's 9 kills out of 100 people in that match.
That's almost 10%. That's actually 9%, I guess.
But it was really fun. It was like breaching clear. Like the thing you see in Hollywood movies is what we were doing.
Like back to back, covering your corners.
Exactly. Like I would take up a position at the edge of a wall. She'd go over the wall, take the other side. Then I'd follow her. It was just, for whatever happened that day, it was just a special little moment of everything clicked. We worked really well together. We were calling each other, like, things out for each other. If someone had an angle on her, I would take the, I would move to where they couldn't see me and take the shot.
Right.
It went so well. Like, best part is I have a screenshot where, as the final person was alive, we're right next to this gas station. The circle closes in front of the gas station, so there's no cover at all. You have to go into the open. It's me, it's Jess, and it's one other guy, and he goes running towards the circle. I put a couple of rounds into him and he downs me, and then Jess goes around the outside of me and actually manages to put him down while I'm still alive, like down but not out, outside of the circle. So the screenshot is her standing in front of me on my knees in the death zone, and like the other guy dead on the floor. And it was one of those moments where it's like the tension, the anticipation, the exhilaration of actually getting the win. Yeah, it was just so great. Didn't play it at all after that until Friday, when I jumped into I think it was a trio. It was myself again, my wife, and Deadshot, one of my wife's friends. Winner chicken dinner times 2.
Jeez. And
so happy, because that run started out, it's very much like Isaac. That run should not have been a good run.
Right.
It turned out it was. And we got all the way to the end and we took the win, and it's so great. Like, those moments are fantastic. And then you get the flip side, which is instead of SEAL Team 2, I am SEAL Team Egg, because I make the wrong decisions, I do the wrong things.
Right.
And it was myself, one of Deadshot's friends, Steelers fan. Don't know why I was playing as a Browns fan in a party with someone called Steelers fan.
Right.
I don't know. My wife, Steelers fan, me, and T-Bone Rocks.
Nice.
And we played probably 4 rounds, and every single round, I was usually the first one dead, right at the beginning of the game. So then you get the really bad part of pub, which is sitting there spectating someone for 25 minutes while the rest of the round
you're having
goes
so much fun.
Yep. And it's always it's one of those things where it was my fault. Some of them were bad situations, some of them was me making the wrong decisions. But yeah, like I said, it went from SEAL Team 2 to SEAL Team Egg, because it was literally like, oh, I got touched, I cracked, I broke, and now my innards are all over the floor.
Right.
Like, it was so bad. And at that point I was just like, no, I'm done. I got one more. I've got an Isaac daily to do, and then I'm done, because I'm so angry with both myself and this game right now that I needed to take a break from it. But that's also kind of a good thing, because any game that can cause any form of emotion, positive or negative, is a good game.
Right.
And that was frustrating to me, because it's not just the game's fault that I'm dying, it's also my fault.
Right.
I should not have gone around a corner where I knew there was going to be a guy waiting. I didn't see him before, but I had my suspicions, when he's got a shotgun and I have a rifle.
Ooh.
At 3 feet distance. That's a bad decision every single time.
Yeah.
But after PUBG, because PUBG is fantastic, and it will get to that point where it's like, I played PUBG, stuff happened.
Right.
Check the clips.
It's still good.
Yes. NeoGeo King of Monsters. Do we remember my decision to not buy a new game until I complete 2?
Yes. So
I completed NeoGeo King of Monsters. That game is actually really fun, despite its randomness and its quarter grabbing nature.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly fun, and I actually sent over to you before we started the show a little piece of music, which as soon as I started that stage, I thought that music was absolutely incredible and something that you only really get from that era, like the the SNES, Genesis, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like I love the Super NES and Genesis and like Neo Geo era because they were trying to put like heavy guitar work in their games, and the sound chip just couldn't do it. So it just there's that like couple years where it's just like like that's how they made guitar sound, and it sounds so cheesy and so good at the same time. Where it's like, yeah, this track rips.
Yeah, it feels very dirty. Like
Yeah.
dirty is the word I think I'd use to describe it. It's E1M1. It's right there. That piece of
Yep.
music sums up that entire era of sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, Neo Geo King of Monsters. If you like pro wrestling games and if you like arcade beat 'em ups, it might be worth a shot.
Can you
If
do
you don't,
couch co-op in it, or like couch versus?
you can.
Okay.
You can do player versus player, and there's two-player mode. But in the two-player mode, it's 2v2. So
Oh,
if one
wow,
of you
okay.
gets taken out, that can be a bit of a problem.
I bet that'd be a really good party game because it's really simple to pick up and play. There isn't a ton to do. I mean, it's not going to be as good as something like a Jackbox game, but that could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Now all I need to do is have a party
Right.
and friends to play it with. But no, yeah, no, I knocked off my 1,000 game score in that. Yay for me.
Nice.
And figured I'd move on to a different Neo Geo game.
Mm-hmm.
Magical Drop 2.
Oh man, Magical Drop.
Conceptually wise, this game is actually really, really good. And I'm not a puzzle game fan. I've never played the Street Fighter game with puzzles. I've never been a huge fan of Bubble Bobble. Like my puzzle game is, and will forever be Tetris.
Yeah.
No, that
It's
is
the
my
OG.
Yeah, it's the OG. It's the one I know best. Like I'm debating picking up Tetris and Puyo Puyo, but I don't understand Puyo Puyo, so
It has a really good tutorial.
okay. Problem is the only version I can get is Japanese.
Let me look it up because I think they were trying to put it out on Xbox One here.
I hope they do or have, because I'm interested in it, but
Yeah, I'll have to look.
but yeah, that game is actually really, really kind of fun, and I hit the zen-like state with it, where I never thought for 1 second I would actually get the full gamer score on it, because despite most Neo Geo games having relatively easy achievements, I think Hamster have decided to up the ante, like from like their second generation upwards.
Okay, it's no longer like open the options menu, 250 points.
Nope, nothing along those lines.
Yeah.
Now it's get ridiculous high scores, which when you're playing against AI in a puzzle game, that can be very difficult when you get to like stage 6. And these guys are throwing chains together in 4 seconds flat.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm still looking at the board. I don't know what's going on.
I'm moving my first piece.
Yes, exactly. However, bright side, I did eventually manage to, get in, get the high score, get out, got my achievements. Surprisingly an enjoyable game, never touching it again. I'm done Magical Drop, and I am researching every single game I buy to make sure there is no more puzzle games in there.
Right.
Puzzle platformers I'm fine with. Standard puzzle games though, but no, Magical Drop, really cool. And every single time I selected my character, I couldn't help but say to myself, open your eyes and see, because they are tarot cards are the playable characters, and the one I chose was the world.
Right.
So I couldn't help it. It's like every time I selected it, it was open your eyes and see.
Yeah.
Anyway, played a touch of Astroneer. There's not a whole lot more I can say about that right now. That
Still
game is a lot.
into it.
Yeah, still digging into it, still learning things about it. My wife and I started to construct our vehicles on our planet now, so we now have cars. Slight problem we discovered is you can actually connect. The way the vehicles in it work is very hub based. So you build a base, you build a seat, and then you build anything else you want to put on it.
Okay.
If you build a base with a seat and then drive it forwards and then build another base, you can connect them, so you can get a train of cars going.
You get like a millipede car.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure next time we load her up, Jess's is going to be all about the I'm having 7 cars attached to one another and I'm just going to drive it around the planet.
If it's drivable at all.
Yeah, we'll see. They all come with the built-in battery packs though, so that's good.
Oh, nice.
Well, no, Astroneer is really quite fun. The game continues to show depth beyond what I was expecting it to. But
is that in early access or whatever Xbox calls it?
Yep, it is in the game preview program.
Game preview, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm really, really pleased with my own game preview purchases so far, because my main 3 have been Astroneer, PUBG, which was kind of a mutual one between Jess and I, and Elite Dangerous. Those are the 3 I chose.
You could do a lot worse than that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm enjoying that, and I actually do like the fact that like Xbox is very crystal clear when you're looking at those games. Like they give you a demo time for them. They tell you, you know, you've got, I think it's like 2 or 3 hours or something to play this game to see if you're interested in buying it, and then it always says these are works in progress. They may not be completed. Keep that in mind when you actually purchase them.
Yeah, instead of just saying, like, it's a brand new game in the store, Astroneer. It's like, wait, this is 0.15. Like, this isn't even... There's nothing here, man.
Yep. And I know Astroneer is still being worked on because it actually got its 0.51 patch recently.
Nice.
Which added a bunch of HUD upgrades, a bunch of UI interface kind of things, made the quality of life improvements kind of thing where like, oh, now I understand how much power draw I'm getting, and now I understand, you know, what this is doing to the system, that kind of thing.
Oh, good.
But yeah, that game is actually really fun to just discover stuff in. It's like, oh, let's figure out how to build a car. Oh, let's just see if I can attach this car to that car. Yes, I can. This is going to be a problem from going forwards. You know, there's a lot of stuff to discover in it and a lot of stuff to go. It's the negative side of not having a tutorial is you don't know how to work stuff. The positive is you get the fun side of discovering it all.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of what made me interested in Minecraft when I first started playing that. It was, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see what I'm doing. Let's see how to play this kind of thing.
Yeah, and like, what I think is so great about when games like that get it right, I feel like it really... So many people are like, well, yeah, just open up your laptop and have the wiki. But when games do it right like that, you almost don't want to, because like, well, what happens if I smush these 2 things? Oh my god, that's crazy. And it's like, oh, what if I smush that with something? Oh man, this is nuts. You know, you get to have that discovery instead of just saying like, oh, you want the best sword in the game? Just put these 3 things together. Yeah,
and that's been something that we have been deliberately not doing while playing Astroneer is... Well, what does this do? I don't know. Let's build it and find out. There is a drill. There is a drill in that game. I want to build it just so I can find out what it does. I don't want to look up and figure out what it does. I want to build it in the game to find it out.
Right.
It's like you said, it's the best thing that those type of games can do is make you want to avoid looking at that kind of thing. Yeah. And the game is gorgeous. Like, it's a very simplistic art style, but the game is so beautiful. Like, there's so many little touches in it that just make it so great. That it's a game that I'm looking forward to putting a little bit of time into now, and then the second it leaves early access, probably putting a whole bunch more time into it.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee one of those achievements will be fly to 17 different planets.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because that's something you could do is build rockets and go to other planets.
That's cool.
Oh, I'm looking forward to so much stuff.
This game sounds super cool.
It really is. I beat the campaign on Tropico 5, the main story campaign.
Congrats, jeez.
I am now about 45% of the way through the achievements, so I am like 55% away from forcing my wife to play Alpha Protocol.
Good job, El Presidente.
Yes, thank you. I do love the fact that it's called the Penultimo Edition, because that is the name of your advisor.
That's good.
I now have a bunch of DLC which I'm working on. I'm working on. I wish I could remember the name of it. I'm working on the Waterborne campaign, which revolves around the Black Pearl. Which is funny because it's an actual pearl. It's not a boat. It's an actual black pearl.
Great.
As far as I'm aware so far, it's a pearl, not a boat.
Right.
I hope it's not a boat.
I don't know. That game might turn it around on you.
Yeah, well, when the main campaign has time travel, the Illuminati, assassins sent from the future to come back, managing the stock market in such a way because you've gone back in time to make yourself so much money that you don't know what to do with it anymore.
Right.
Like the game is just so crazy, and I feel like it does it all with the best manners, the best intentions, but that game skirts the racist line so finely.
Yeah, I feel like that's always been Tropico's problem. Is it's sort of like it's tongue in cheek, but sometimes it's sort of like, yeah, maybe that's too close on that one.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't feel like overtly racist. It doesn't feel like they're doing it deliberately to make a point, but it does seem to skirt that line so close that sometimes it's like maybe just on the wrong side of it there.
Yeah.
Bring it back just a little bit.
Yeah.
But the delivery in it, the lines, the writing in it is so great. The lady on the radio who announces things, when first time you build an airport, she's talking about joining a special club that she's a member of.
Yeah. And it's like, it's knowing
like,
and it's also sort of not knowing, you know?
Yeah, don't worry, you can play this around your kids.
Yeah.
But you will be laughing while they are confused.
Right.
But yeah, Waterborne campaign now. I don't know how far I am through that. It seems like it's basically just a sandbox mode so far. Like it doesn't have the mission progression that the last one did. It just feels like it's more sandboxy, and you complete objectives to progress throughout the story that it's trying to tell. But I'm really looking forward to actually getting that one done, and also then I know I've got the intelligence, what's it called? The espionage DLC.
Okay.
Which has also got a hilarious name, but I can't think of the name of that either. It's something to do with McCoys. I don't know. I don't know.
And it's all the same goofy stuff.
Yeah, but no, Tropico, again, I think I've said it before. I can't explain how they've managed to do something. And it's a PC game. I don't know how they've transitioned those controls so well to a console, and no other game can seem to do it right.
Yeah, because I even played, I think it was Tropico 3 on 360, and even then, the controls were really good. It's sort of like, I started playing it, I might have been reviewing it, I don't remember. But I started playing it and I was like, this is going to be a disaster. And about 5 hours later, I was like, oh wait, I'm still playing Tropico. Huh. Okay. Yeah.
And it's become second nature after a while. Like, it just genuinely, it becomes so simple to be like, okay, dead quick, done. You know?
It's like when Diablo 3 came out on consoles. And it's like, this isn't going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. And it's like, ah, crap, they figured it out. Okay. Yeah, this controls perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know. Like, everyone praised XCOM for it. And XCOM did a fantastic job of it, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
Why aren't people giving these people as much love for doing it so much longer ago?
Yeah.
Quick note, they do something I love. Thank you, Calypso Entertainment. You can skip the credits at the start of the game. The second it's loaded, you can press B and skip the Calypso thing, skip the publisher note, skip the intro. You can skip all of that as soon as it's loaded and ready to go.
Good.
So, thank you for not making me sit through 45 seconds of one logo and then 45 seconds of another.
Yeah.
Thank you, Calypso. Now, bring us Tropico 6, because my wife needs a hit.
Right, yeah. Sims 4 isn't doing it for her.
It's really not. Like, as soon as I think it was announced at E3, like they showed her the trailer at the Sony press conference, I mentioned that to her, and her first response was, it better not be a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised.
I don't think they can afford to do it, and I don't think Sony want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know she's waiting for the new Tropico. So My final game this week, I thought I could see the playing games specific situation here. Two TVs next to each other, one Xbox original, one Xbox One X, one 4K TV, one 1080 TV.
Mm-hmm.
Playing games like Hunter Call of the Wild, I can see the difference. I can see the faster rendering. I can see the more detailed, enhancements and stuff like that. It's good. The games look great. PUBG runs significantly better for me than it does for my wife.
Right.
I'm seeing the difference every single time we play a game together, or around about the same time. Then I decided it'd be a good idea to load up Forza Horizon 3, which just got its native 4K patch.
Oh man.
And that game is mind-bogglingly beautiful. It's the game is. I mean, I think you'll agree with me here. The game is beautiful as is.
Yeah, I actually fired it up this week too. I don't know why. Apparently, we both had the same itching for Forza Horizon, and I fired it up. And I was like, man, this game still looks really great at 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw that patch for 4K, and I was like, oh no, that's got to look real good.
I don't think so far. I mean, I like Gears. I think Gears looks great in 4K.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest issue with Gears is that it's a dark game.
Yeah.
It's something we have criticized Gears for in the past. It's grays and browns.
Yep. Not a lot of blue skies going on there.
Yeah, you want to show someone a HD game, and not 4K but HD. You show them Viva Pinata. You don't show them Gears.
Right.
Because you can see the difference there. I loaded up Forza Horizon, and that thing, it's so gorgeous. I don't think I've seen a more beautiful game to date.
Oh, man.
Because everything is rendered with so much more detail. I jumped into the Blizzard Mountain DLC, and the snow and everything else looks incredible. Side note, I did have to reinstall the Blizzard Mountain DLC to get it to load up into my game. That's probably an issue with the whole partnering thing I do with my wife.
Oh, well, and you transferred between consoles too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had an issue with that. So if that's an issue for you, just download it again. Doesn't take long. But that game is amazing. Like it's so beautiful. Like as soon as I loaded it up, my wife stopped what she was doing, looked at my TV, and said, "When am I getting my Xbox One X? When am I getting my 4K TV?"
Yeah.
Because that's how much of a difference it made for someone who, by her own admission, doesn't see the differences.
Right.
The second she saw Forza Horizon 3 in native 4K, she was in.
It's like the first time you saw a DVD, where you're just like, oh, that's a huge difference. Holy crap.
Yep. And honestly, I've got that edge back. I've got that need to go back in and look at my map and look at those things that I haven't done and get them done.
Icons.
Yeah. Luckily, my main Forza Horizon 3 is mostly done. It's mostly the Blizzard Mountain stuff that I need to get done.
Right.
So I get to spend time in 4K snow. So I am perfectly happy with that.
Yeah.
So expect some Forza Horizon 3 updates from me, and many, many nights of cursing as I drift into a wall and come last.
Right.
It's hard to drive on snow. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah. I grew up in Ohio. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I've been playing. On a side note, though, I have the rule where I can't buy something until I've completed 2 games. I completed 2 games, Magical Drop and King of Monsters.
Nice.
I didn't think when I was making this rule for myself, I do game share with my wife. So now I own Far Cry Primal and something else that she decided on a whim to buy.
Oh, cool.
So that's not me purchasing it. That's not my choice.
That's the family account.
Yes, that's the family usage rather than mine.
Right.
So yes.
I played a bunch of stuff this weekend, oddly. I realized when I was playing Marvel Puzzle Quest earlier today that we haven't talked about it on the show in a while, and they've made a ton of UI changes.
Yeah, they seem to be updating it like every 3 weeks now.
Yeah, which is sort of weird because they've pretty considerably changed the UI in the game, which on the long term will be good, because I think it makes it, you know, if you haven't played it, they do simple stuff now where you basically have active or passive skills. Your active skills, you fill up AP in a bar. Once that bar is filled up, you can use the skill. Passive skills are always like, you know, Doctor Strange hits the enemy for X damage when they use a power and put a tile on the board. That's a passive. Or like, you match 3 purple tiles and it puts some tile on the board.
How are you talking about passive skills and you haven't talked about Court Death?
Well, Court Death is Thanos' black skill, where when your team kills one enemy, it does a ridiculous amount of damage to the other team and a little bit of damage to your team. But the confusing part about those skills before were that they sort of had the bar shaded a little bit, but it didn't look different from the other 2 bars if they were empty. Thankfully, now they put like hash marks through it, so it's very clearly, here are 2 bars you fill up, you can't do anything with this bar.
Yeah, and if you don't have the skill, it's not hashed, it just doesn't, it's not there, the bar
it shows
isn't there
like
at
this
all.
steel background. You can now see how much AP the enemy has when it's their move that flips the table over, and you can see all their skills. A lot of little quality of life things that I sort of wish they would announce. They do a really good job of putting patch notes on their website, but for bigger changes in the game itself, I sort of wish they would say, you know, when you fire up the game, like, hey, we changed how the battle menu looks. Just keep that in mind. But what I think makes me feel better is that even years later, they're making big changes to how the game functions, instead of just saying, like, we're just going to ride this for as long as we can. That makes me feel better that this might be a game that's going to stick around for maybe even a couple more years, instead of just, we're just going to keep collecting money and putting more units in. You know, they're doing some pretty big work.
Yeah, I can't help but think as well that, like, this game's been out for that amount of time, and now you're seeing all of the Marvel stuff come to fruition with the hype for, you know, Age of Ultron and Black Panther.
Right.
And they're getting new characters injected constantly into the game based on upcoming or possibly upcoming stuff. Kraven just got added.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's, you know, he's got no real history. He's not in any of the Spider-Man movies. He's a comic character, but he's there.
Yeah.
You know, so stuff like that makes me think, ooh, Spider-Man, Kraven, come on, let's do it.
You gonna show up? Yeah, it's. I'm impressed with the work they're doing, and they just keep making that game good. I mean, that I can't recommend it enough. It's a really great match 3. Even if you don't care about Marvel characters, I bet you'd still enjoy playing a solid match 3 game.
Yeah. Something actually Mackie brought up was his love of, I think it was the OG Puzzle Quest.
Yeah. And
how now Marvel Puzzle Quest has got all the right things, because it's a bunch of comic stuff and it's Puzzle Quest, and it's just like, oh, there's your hooks. Let's go.
That original Puzzle Quest was so good and so revolutionary, and I wish we would get another like fantasy Puzzle Quest again, because that was pretty great, but I feel like you couldn't put that game on consoles anymore. It would have to be mobile.
Some good/bad news for you. There are these type of games on consoles, and they're free-to-play nightmares.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the problem, because as we've always said with Marvel Puzzle Quest is, they don't take advantage of you. You know, like, almost all of us are part of the VIP program. As you can see, like, every couple of days, someone says, hey, you get a free point because someone re-upped their VIP. Even if you don't have VIP, you're probably getting a new character slot once a month, maybe, which is pretty doable for as many characters as they have. You know, you sort of build your stable of characters starting from your 1-star, your 2-star, and going up. It feels fair, you know, which I definitely can't say about a lot of free-to-play games.
Yeah, I think that's what they nailed. Like, absolutely got it perfectly correct, is it feels fair.
Yep. It feels fair enough that we have a alliance of 20 people that play every day.
Yep.
Like, it's pretty great. I played a little bit of Destiny 2 because I sort of felt the itch when Tuesday rolled around for reset, I sort of felt the itch to play it at the end of the day. I was tired. I didn't really want to play anything else I had. I was like, all right, let's go play, do the Flashpoint, which is basically you complete X number of public events on a planet. This week's was Mercury, if I remember correctly. So I did a little bit of that, and I thought, I really should do the side quests that came with the Curse of Osiris DLC. And I'm a little upset that I hadn't before, because the third or fourth one that happened, the very last one, was incredible. It's called, I think, Bug in the System. And what they did, and it's great and it makes me mad at the same time, is you go through the Infinite Forest a little bit and you dump out at this place where they put a tower defense mode in there.
What?
Like, you have this central point to defend that has about 3 or 4 entrance points, and the game just says, defend this center point, and you're going to have a ton of different enemies, like Vex, I think it was everything except for Cabal and Taken. So it's the 3 rest of the groups of enemies. They're just going to try and break this point. And it was really good. And it actually wasn't that punishing, because when they get to the center, it stops everything. You wipe out the people from the center, you go find a Cyclops, destroy it, pick something up, and sort of slam dunk that to reactivate the thing. But you didn't lose any progress. You're still, like, in that wave that they broke into the thing on.
So in this DLC poop storm that they have brought upon themselves, they did one thing right.
Yeah, and it's like, it's sort of frustrating, because you look at the Infinite Forest, and I've talked about that for a couple of weeks. I'm not going to belabor the point, but you can obviously see where the benefits of opening that up like Rifts in Diablo 3 would be, and how that could be a cool replayable section. And then you look at this and you say, well, you made an actually really cool tower defense mode in Destiny 2. I want to, like, select that and play that with my friends, and almost like a horde mode, sort of. And it's just, there's a lot going on with Destiny 2 right now. A lot of it continues to be the same problem, so I'm not going to belabor the bad points. But you sort of look at this stuff and say, you could make the game more replayable if you, like, enable scoring on your tower defense mode. That would be pretty cool. And if you could let people just pick it from the director, I'd play more of that. That's fun.
Yeah, I don't understand why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine it would be a considerable amount of time to scale that up, and you'll put multiple maps in there and enable scoring, which I don't think they have in Strikes right now, so it's, not something they have underlying. But if you could come out with the next DLC and say, like, look, we have Strikes and we have Heroic Strikes and yada yada yada, and we put this, bug in the system horde mode in, I think that would go a long way to having some cool replayability, as long as they put actual drops in there, like they're looking to do. Yeah, surprisingly really great. And then the next step of missions was go do a heroic version of these missions, and I couldn't. My light level is like 317, 320, and they said, oh, you just need to be 300. Nope. That was...
Oh, wow.
I needed some help on that one. That was not going to happen.
Is it a case of 300 in a group of at least 2 by any chance?
Probably, yeah. Like, too many enemies, and they did the thing that I like in Destiny 2, where they give you... they called it Prism in Destiny 1. I don't remember what they call it in Destiny 2, but it's... sometimes the Nightfall has it, where it rotates which element is strong.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and it did that in this mission. So that was kind of cool, but if you don't have multiple people, like I'm a warlock that has primarily void armor on, so every time I kill with void stuff, both of my non-kinetic weapons are void, my abilities recharge much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So without someone there with other elements, I'm not really good solo. So it was sort of like, all right, I need to find someone to help, you know, go through these missions with. But nobody's playing Destiny 2.
For good reason.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly can't fault someone. So maybe when the next DLC comes out, I'll say, hey, let's go back to Mercury. Let's go do that.
We'll see.
We already talked about Forza Horizon 3. I found one more road.
Yeah, I saw the image.
Yeah, I'm 487 out of 488, and it was. I went to a barn find and I found it, and I went on the map, and it's one of those like curvy. So for anyone that hasn't played it, like side roads are these dotted, like dashed lines.
Yep.
And a lot of them in the environment are like there'll be a little dashed curve, and then like a mile away from there will be a gray dashed line that's in like scrub brush on the map, so you can't see it. It was one of those right next to where I was, and I was like, yeah, I found it. Now I still have one more that I still can't find.
I did link to it in Discord, but if you head over to the True Achievements Forza Horizon 3, they have a commonly missed roads thread.
Yep.
I
keep scouring through those and saying like, all right, I have my phone here, looking at the map. Okay, all right, I've already found those. And I know it's going to be somewhere like in the middle of the city, where it's like crisscross 10 roads, and I just didn't drive down one that's like an inch on the map.
My least favorite is the on-off ramps for the highways.
Ugh, yeah.
Like, literally you skip at the tiniest section, and that's not an explode road because you cut the corner a little bit to go on or off the highway.
Yeah. And the great part about Forza is it's just so much fun to drive there. I have a lot of good cars now because I've been playing forever. So a lot of times it's just like, oh, I have a speed trap. I'll see if I can 3-star that. I have a 2-star on this one. Or there's one of those jumps. I have a 1-star. I can do better than that. Let's back up. And there's just still so much stuff in there for me to have fun with that I can't be that upset. I'm a little frustrated that I still have one road left, but I still have so much more fun stuff to do along the way. It's not like there's no icons on my map. This is the only thing I have left to do. Just release me from this torture. I still have tournaments to do. Like there's so much stuff.
So much stuff,
yeah. Last game before I get into the Danganronpa corner here. I downloaded and played a very, very little bit of the Metal Gear Survive beta.
Yeah, how was that? Because I've had mixed news from several different people.
I kinda like it. So I will admit to you, dear listeners, the reason why I downloaded it is because I was expecting it to be a trash truck on fire.
You wanted the hot mess report.
I sort of did, and I feel badly about that, but I don't trust Konami with the Metal Gear name. I barely trusted Kojima with the Metal Gear name. Like, now that he's gone, you know, what the hell's gonna happen?
I don't trust Konami with anything. I don't trust them with soccer, and they've been doing that for decades.
Yeah,
they had the best soccer game for years.
They made PES, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Metal Gear Survive does not give a great first impression, because I'm sure you saw my picture on Twitter of the menu, which is a third-person walk-around menu. Thankfully, you can just hit the touchpad and it brings up the actual menu. I kind of dig... So the single-player, they primarily focused on something called scavenge mode, I think it was, or salvage mode, something like that. Where you start on the outskirts of a town. There's a drilling something, like basically the upgrade materials. There's like some crystals. There's a lot of terms in this game, and I'll get to why in a second. But you basically have to sneak your way into the city to go start this thing, and then defend the drill from zombies. And what I sort of didn't realize about the game is it seems like they've combined some like light Monster Hunter crafting stuff that seems to get really deep later on with almost Gears of War Horde building fortifications and turrets and stuff.
Oh, wow.
But it plays really, really well like Metal Gear Solid 5 did.
Oh, don't sell me on this. Don't sell me on this because I don't need to be playing this game.
I don't think you need to because Monster Hunter World is coming out like next week, so I don't think you have to worry about it. I don't know why they need to push this to like later this year where Monster Hunter isn't. But even finishing one mission, I sort of got it where if you had like 1 to 3 friends, I think it's 4-player, if not 2-player would probably be really great. I could see that where like if you sat down with a dedicated group of people and you all started at the same time and you figured out, all right, here's how we craft all the good stuff, here's the the skills I'll level up and you'll level up these other ones and we'll try and complement each other. I could actually see it being really fun. And that's genuinely really surprising because I thought it was going to be drop into a mission and it's the trailers that have come out have made it look like Dead Rising Metal Gear Solid, which is probably where you'll get to, which is good. But to me, it almost seems like Monster Hunter Metal Gear Solid, which also seems really good.
Oh, why?
I said the magic words.
Don't use those 3 words, those 2 words in front of another game because I will end up picking it up and I will end up playing it. Thank you for ruining it.
I feel like Metal Gear Survive is a game to watch in 2018 because I feel like Konami put their fingers into a lot of the dirty stuff in Metal Gear Solid 5, especially as Kojima left, the microtransactions started creeping into MGS5.
Yep.
I think because of that, I would exercise caution in Metal Gear Survive, because I think if they leave it alone and they just keep like adding content or adding DLC packs to it, I think it could be really cool. But they can't really be trusted, to put it pretty plainly.
Yeah, I mean that's my big issue is like right now it's similar with the EA. It's like I think EA has proven to me that they are not interested in what is best for me. They are not. I mean, to be honest, I'm barely interested in what's best for me. To be honest, like, but EA has proven that they're not about making sure we're having good experiences. They are about increasing their profit share, their their stock prices, that kind of thing. I don't know if I can trust them to do something that I would enjoy or be designed for me. Konami have made it perfectly clear in the past they have no interest in making video games, and then they release a video game.
Yeah,
to me that says 2 things. It says 2 things. It says Metal Gear still has some cachet. Look at how well Metal Gear 5 was looked at the end of that year.
Yep.
What can we do with the same engine, the same basic kind of layout, the same controls,
all the same assets,
and how much money can we squeeze out of this using microtransactions and stuff like that?
Yeah, we had a good conversation in the TVGP Discord server. You can find the link on the right hand side of the page, because it almost seems like it's going to hurt and help the game to have the Metal Gear name associated with it. Because I feel like if they had put this in the same engine, the Fox engine still looks great, obviously, and it still looks like Metal Gear Solid 5. It's the same assets. I feel like if they wouldn't have put the Metal Gear name on it, I feel like people might be more curious, but might have dismissed it out of hand, because it's like, well, Konami's making a Monster Hunter like Left 4 Dead, Dead Rising game, and they didn't really get everything right.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, because I think what was the PSP game that was on the HD collection? Peace Walker.
Yeah,
there were bonus missions on that where you fought Monster Hunter enemies.
Yeah, those were great.
That tickled me so much.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's
a weird thing. Just like I feel like that's my takeaway is, I bet it's going to be really good, and I bet if you can, just like Monster Hunter, if you can get a group of people together that are regularly playing it, and you're all staying at the same level, and you're all discovering at the same time, and you're not like riding the wiki or anything, I bet that could be a really cool experience. And if Konami was smart, I think they would position it to say, hey man, isn't Monster Hunter pretty scary? You know, like there's a lot of game there, right? Metal Gear Survive starts you off pretty easy. You know, they could, because going into Monster Hunter World coming out, I feel like that's the concern for so many people is Monster Hunter is intimidating. It's a big game. It's and then they hear this is the one to start with. It's more beginner friendly. It's more, you know, it has a slower ramp, and people go, oh, okay, maybe I will try this one.
Yeah. I mean, it also helps that that thing is getting coverage like I've never seen before. Like,
It's
never
crazy.
seen a Monster Hunter game like have this many events and people talking about it beforehand.
Yep.
Like, I think this should tell them just how hungry people were for a mainline console Monster Hunter game after all of the Nintendo stuff
And
has
mobile
finished.
versions and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I think a lot of people ever since, you know, they've seen people play it on the Wii and the PSP and the Vita and been like, yeah, I really want to play this with my friends, but I have a 360 or an Xbox One that is on the internet. I don't want to... Me and my friends aren't going to sit... Like, we're not in school anymore. We're not going to sit around together to play it. We just can't do that. We live across the country.
Yeah, it's not a commute on the way into school game,
Right.
you know, anywhere except for Japan, basically.
Right.
But I actually know how they can sell it really easy. How they can sell Metal Gear Survive, Monster Hunter, AK-47, problem solved.
Yeah. Do you like shooting zombies and making stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want those scary bow guns that look weird. Here's an AK-47, problem solved.
Yeah, it's sort of funny because I want Metal Gear Survive to do well, because I don't want a team to get fired, and I don't want, you know, a team of who knows how many people to have their time wasted or their hard work wasted. But it's also Konami, and they can't really be trusted. So it's sort of this internal fight where it's like, oh, damn you, Konami. But then, this could be a really cool game. Who knows? So, I don't know. I think, like I said before, I think if you're interested in this or you're interested in the genre, keep an eye on this. It will be very clear once it's been out for a couple of months if Konami decides to screw with it. And if they do, then I think you don't bother with it. But if they leave it alone, it might be worthwhile.
Hopefully.
All right, let's talk about Danganronpa.
Okay, 1 second.
Four things to talk about here.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess 2, anime 3. I don't know what the 4th one is.
You'll be surprised. So I did finish 2. I was about halfway through the final chapter last week, so I had maybe like an hour and a half left to go. I think I spent 30 hours with that. It wasn't super long. I didn't do any of the side stuff, which is sort of killing me because it unlocked 2 additional game modes and a novel.
Okay.
when you finished it, and the novel seems really good. I didn't play any of that because I wanted to move on to Danganronpa V3, which I have sitting in my PS4 right now. I am skipping over Ultra Despair Girls, which is their third-person shooter.
I'm sorry, these game titles here are crazy. And also, it just occurred to me, I'm sorry, I have to say it right now.
Sure.
You are like a visual novel librarian, because you get so kinds of excited at like these things.
At reading books.
Yes, except it's visual novels. It's like, oh, it's a new book coming out.
I love them so much. Oh, it's so good. So I'm skipping Ultra Despair Girls. The title makes sense if you've played Danganronpa, which is crazy. Basically, the whole crux of Danganronpa is the struggle between hope and despair. Like, which one can win? So I finished Danganronpa 2. That 100% did not go anywhere I thought it was going to.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. It was incredible. Like, the turns and twists this game took throughout the entire game, culminating in the ending, was just bananas. Just 100%, where you just sit back while the credits are rolling and you're like, yeah, that was incredible. Like, that was awesome. And I really wish I could talk about it, but Danganronpa 2 takes so much from the first game and morphs it and then puts a capstone on top of it to sort of wrap up stuff that happened in that game and in Danganronpa 2.
Okay.
So all I can do is now that I'm done with the Hope's Peak Academy arc.
Is that the name of the school?
Yeah, the Hope's Peak Academy is the school where the ultimate students go to.
Okay.
So I'm done with that arc, which we'll talk about capping off in a minute. People should really try these. The PS4 version of the 1 and 2 Reload is really good. They basically just pick up the Vita versions, they put them on PS4, they add additional stuff, and they don't really mess with it, which is really solid. 2 controls a little bit differently than the first one in ways that are just really weird. V3 controls differently than both of those, which is really weird. None of it is really a negative. It's just sort of like your first hour is sort of like, whoa, that makes me look up and down now. Okay. All right, how do I move again? Oh, I can strafe in this one. Okay. Like, there's just some weird stuff.
Wait, hold on. You can strafe in a visual novel.
Yeah, because like in all 3 of them, you walk around the school, and in the second one, the islands, in first person.
Yeah.
Which is cool because you get to look around the environment. You get to basically click on stuff that you want to investigate. It's all really interesting. So Danganronpa 2 was good, but it left me with questions about how we got from 1 to 2, and then what happened at the ending of 1. Not really a spoiler, but the ending of 1 is a bit of a cliffhanger. In a way that's kind of satisfying, but also sort of like, yeah, but what happened? Like, what happened next? Like 2 minutes from now.
It's the Stargate Universe ending.
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who's seen both seasons of that show, so good luck getting that reference.
I didn't make it that deep, but... so I watched the Danganronpa 3 anime. I have a lot to say about this, so bear with me. One is, it answers all of those questions and cleans up everything in the Hope's Peak Academy arc. So if you play 1 and 2 and you watch this anime, everything is sealed up and done and answered in a really, really great way. And at no point did it ever feel like they were retconning anything. Like, as they start unveiling more stuff, it's sort of like, oh, right, I did do that in 1. Like, there's this little throwaway scene in 1 where it's like, oh, that actually meant something. Oh, that actually meant a whole lot of stuff. Oh, okay. So they tied that stuff up really well. And how they presented it was super cool. And I watch a lot of anime, so I'm sure someone's going to say, like, oh, they did that in this, too. They presented it in 2 arcs. So 2 storylines. One is Despair, which is the stuff that happens at Hope's Peak Academy before Danganronpa 1. That ties 1 and 2 sort of together. And then they call the other one Future, which happens after the ending of Danganronpa 2.
Okay.
So you're sort of bookended.
I'm following so far.
Yeah, like these 2 scenes, these 2 seasons, let's call them, sort of bookend on both ends of the story here. And then for reasons I don't really want to spoil, the pre-Danganronpa 1, the Despair arc, also deals a lot with Danganronpa 2.
Okay.
But I don't know how much of that is spoilers, especially because I think some people are starting to play it now. What they do really, really intelligently, and I didn't think this was going to pay off in any way, I thought it was going to be confusing, is you don't watch one season and then the other season. You watch one episode from one season and then the episode from the other season. So it's like season 1 of Despair, episode 1 of future, and then you alternate through all 12 episodes.
Yeah, it's Buffy and Angel.
Sure. Okay, sure. I have never seen.
I have never seen either, but that is the nomenclature that most easily comes to mind. Okay. They had episodes ending in Angel, where Buffy would start with the ending of that episode.
Cool. So, what Danganronpa 3 does, and I really wish they had named it something different because it's confusing between Danganronpa 3 the anime and Danganronpa V3 the game.
Yeah.
But it's like Danganronpa 3 the End of Hope's Peak Academy is like the full title of it. It works really well because like at the end of the first episode, you start with Future, which is the stuff that happens after the second game. Mm-hmm. One of the characters you just met died. And then you start with the stuff on the other episode before Danganronpa 1 where she's like watching that and she's going, oh, that sort of stinks. That kind of died, huh? And it's like, well, let's talk about what happened a couple years ago. And they do such a great job of you meet these characters in the future arc that you haven't really known before, and you know there's a really great scene where it's like, well, why would you betray me? We've been friends for years. That's the end of that episode. The beginning of the other one, you start watching how they became friends and how this wedge got driven between their relationship and why it resulted in this horrible stuff that happened a couple years in the future.
Yeah. It feels a little Pulp Fiction-y, but I kind of get you. Yeah,
and it's crazy because I think the show would be fine if you watched one season and you watched the other season and you topped it off with... There's one episode at the end that sort of wraps up the whole Hope's Peak Academy arc and sort of... You get a happy ending on all of it. Mm. But the way that it works switching between them is really, really good and resolves so much good stuff in such a smart way. And thankfully Crunchyroll has it in order because Funimation put it out, but on their own service and their own website they even put it on Blu-ray. They have, here's one season, here's the other season, here's the last episode, see you later, without any real guidance of like how you should watch it. And they put it out on Blu-ray with like, here's one season in a box, here's another season in a box. It's like,
so you actually have to change the discs.
Yeah, like every episode. It's like, you guys, you license this. My big problem, though, with this is, I'm probably going to catch some flack for this. They translated it wrong. So, the games existed before the anime, in the time. There's certain terms, like you've heard me say Hope's Peak Academy a lot.
Yeah.
In the anime, they translate it as Hope's Peak High School. That's fine, but it's a little bit off.
Yeah.
You've heard me talk about like how all these students are ultimates in something.
Yeah.
They didn't translate that to ultimates. They translated it, and it's probably more accurate to the Japanese version, to high school level students of something. Which is fine, but if you're gonna... You can leave, like, the Japanese how it is. That's probably the accurate translation for all that stuff. But if you have the English version already, and you have a lot of the English voice actors in the anime, why wouldn't you translate it the same? Because then you start... Like, I'd spent all this time catching up, where it's like, oh, they mean ultimate.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm catching up.
It's like having two different fan subs of something and you switch from one to another.
Right. Yeah, it's like, oh, this group translates this as this thing. Okay, that's confusing.
Yeah. Oh, this group just says Shinigami, whereas this group calls them death gods. Okay.
Right.
I've just got to get used to this.
Right. Yeah, and it feels very much like that, but like, what's so crazy is we have the game that is sort of the canonical thing.
Why not just get the game localizers to do the anime?
Or just use the same term. Like, ultimate can't be a trademarked term. Just use the word. Like, but that to me is not the mortal sin of this anime. I had started to watch it in English because they got most of the English voice actors for the anime, which is great because I like a lot of their voice acting. Until Monokuma shows up on screen.
Is this the black and white bear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Monokuma has a great voice in the game. It's this high-pitched, sort of playful, cheery voice that also has like an edge to it. When he starts getting frustrated, or he starts, like when he gets trapped by the students and he has to tell the truth and he doesn't want to, you can hear him sort of like chewing it, like. The voice actor is so good, and like the thing I can liken it to is, you know how Mario sounds, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's me, Mario. Like, he sounds like that. Monokuma has such a specific voice, and like one of my favorite things about him is like his laugh. He goes hoo hoo hoo, like he has this great like giggle that whenever he pops out, he's gonna make that noise, and you know you're gonna get screwed. Like, something terrible has happened. The guy who they got to voice act Monokuma in the anime couldn't have been any more different in that he didn't, I swear to God, he didn't even try. Like, I'm sure this is a contractual thing, because I've seen before where like people that are voice act games can't voice act in anime and vice versa just because of some contractual BS.
Yeah.
I get it. If you can have somebody that sounds like Mickey do Mickey's voice for Disney stuff,
yeah,
you can probably find a guy that sounds like... But basically, like, it sounds like if you fired up a new Mario game, Mario popped up on screen and went, "Hey, yo, it's your boy Mario." What? Oh, yeah, right, it's a me. Yeah, that's my catchphrase. Like... It's so different. Like, when Monokuma comes on screen, it's this menacing moment where you hear him laugh for the first time, and it's like, oh god, Monokuma's back. And the voice actor does this, he goes, hoo, 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 hoo.
Oh, come on.
And I'm just like, wait, that's not Monokuma, is it? And he keeps going, hoo, hoo, and then he's like, it's me, Monokuma, I'm back. And just like, this is so different. Like, what is this? And my immediate thought was, this might be the story, because the stories in the games are so tight that if anything is different from what you expect, there has to be a reason for it. It wasn't. So I listened to it, I just watched it with Japanese and subtitles, and the Monokuma voice there was correct. And I was like, you just got the wrong dude to do it. And I watched a little bit of the Danganronpa 1 anime, which is not good for a lot of reasons. It's the same voice actor there. I'm just like...
The bad one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like, I can't... So, if you play Danganronpa, I really recommend... So I didn't play Ultra Despair Girls, as I mentioned. Just go watch the trailer that NASA has out there for the game. You'll pretty much understand all you need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm excited that I'm done with the Hope's Peak Academy arc, because they, like I said, they wrapped it up right. I would wholeheartedly recommend don't watch the first anime. I watched the first episode. It's real bad. It's going to move way too fast. And it's... Go play the game. It's like 20 hours. Just play the game with a walkthrough, even if you have to. I'm really happy with how they wrapped up the whole thing. It's really good, and it's cool to see them come out with this anime that will not make sense unless you've played 2 entire video games.
Yeah, I don't think you could probably put out a more niche product.
It would be really hard. Like,
I can't think of anything that would be more niche than that. Here is a 2-season anime that you have to watch episodes back to back, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3,
out
3.
of order. Yeah.
And you have to. It will only make sense if you've played 2 minimum 20-hour video games. Before that. That's really the crazy. Nichiest of the niche. Yeah.
It's so crazy, and the anime was good. Like, they didn't cut any corners on the budget. It looks beautiful. They used the music and the sound effects from the game. So, like, when Monokuma appears, it's his music from the game.
That's kind of cool. I love stuff like that carries over.
Yeah, and it's all so good, and like the voice actors from the games are there, and they sound right. It was all done really, really well. So, 2 big thumbs up for the Hope's Peak Academy arc. I'm probably about Oh, so first off, somebody in the community, I think it was T-Bomb Rocks, I apologize if I got this wrong, mentioned I should play the Danganronpa V3 demo before I play the game because it gives you bonuses for the game proper.
Okay.
And it's only maybe an hour, so it's no real time investment. If anyone's curious about Danganronpa, go play the V3 demo. It's a really good encapsulation of here how crazy the characters are, here's movement, here's about half of a class trial, here's all the cool new minigames. And for anyone that played 1 and 2, I really have to recommend it because it stars the new main character, the woman that you play in V3, being it breaks the fourth wall so often because it takes the main characters from the first 2 games, they come together to solve a mystery while they hand off the baton to the new protagonist.
Oh.
It's so, like, there are a lot of little references from the first 2 that if you don't get, that's fine. But you're basically solving the mystery of one of the least likable characters from the first one. And everyone's sort of like, he died. That's fine. No one liked him in the first game. Even Monokuma is like, he was expendable. That's alright.
Oh, wow. And I thought I was in the niche games with my Monster Hunter love.
Yeah, no, this... because I was sort of worried when I started this game. I was like, God, it's probably just going to present, like, the game's first trial. I don't want to play this twice, but they did it really intelligently where they presented the world and they presented all the characters and they got you in a class trial and showed you what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And then when it started getting good, it's like, all right, that's your taste. Go get V3. And then you I won't belabor it, but you carry over a pretty considerable amount of good bonuses into the game. It won't break V3, but it's some good fun stuff. And I started V3, and I'm probably 2 or 3 hours into that. I just got through the prologue, and I'm in Chapter 1, and Monokuma has given us our motives to start the killing game. And I feel like I'm probably 1 in-game day away from finding a dead body. So
okay. You're getting really close to that starting point.
Yeah, I'm like at the turning point. Somehow they learned their mistakes from Danganronpa 2, where everyone starts 2 and says, you know, I don't like these characters as much, I don't really care. I love every single character in V3 immediately. Especially the ultimate inventor, the woman whose name is Miu Aramai, something
Sorry
like
about
that.
This.
She's the one I've been posting screenshots of on Twitter, where she is incredibly foul-mouthed and completely unlikable, and I really, really love her. So far, I'm trying to figure out how much I can talk about, because so far they have turned over a lot of expectations that you had from 1 and 2 of what the environment in a Danganronpa game should be. To add on top of that, there's something crazy going on with the story that I obviously don't understand because I'm only 3 hours in. They introduced these 5 characters called Mono Cubs. They are the quote-unquote children of Monokuma. But Monokuma is a robot, so I don't know how that happened.
These are the Koopa kids.
Basically, there's one that's a robot, there's one that's a hard rocker, and like they're all different colors. There's one that really doesn't like violence and gore, so every time that happens, she starts throwing up. Like, it's Danganronpa to a T, but they somehow found a way to make it bigger and crazier. Yeah. And I love it.
And of course.
Because this is a brand new engine, D-Voice in chat is saying the V3 anime is on European Crunchyroll, it seems. That's a bummer. Sorry. Since this is a new engine, it looks way better. It's easier to control. The menus look even better. The whole thing is a lot faster. It's nice to see that they clearly have been doing very well. It's Spike Chunsoft is the company that's done it, and they also did or published the Zero Escape series, if I remember correctly. I might be getting that wrong. They're obviously doing really well because they've invested in their engines and they've invested in their games, which is really nice to see.
Telltale done right.
Right, yeah, exactly, where it's like, all right, we had some time between 2 and 3, we're going to take time to invest and just make this stuff better and easier to play, and, you know, like you said, it's a visual novel. A lot of it is just reading text on static images, but part of why Danganronpa is great, because you get to explore this environment, you get to walk around the school, and you get to interact with all these people. They don't have to make that really great, but they've invested the time and the money into it to make it just that much better, and I think it really pays off.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see. So far, I haven't really noticed any ties. This starting a new arc. The Hope Speak Academy arc is over. I forget what this one's called. I haven't seen any ties into the previous games so far, so I'm almost hoping that if you don't want to play 1 and 2 and watch the anime, I'm almost hoping that this is a fresh new start where I can say either you start with 1 or you start with V3. Like, those are your 2 entries.
Like a nice clean break.
Yeah, yeah. But I've been talking about Danganronpa for a while. All of it so far has been surprisingly really, really great, and V3 seems to continue that trend, and I'm just really surprised, and again, upset that I haven't been playing these earlier. So, but now I have Danganronpa 4 to look forward to whenever that hype train decides to leave the station. Hopefully in a couple of years. Like, I got other stuff to play.
Yeah.
I have Assassin's Creed Origins to start. Like,
yeah, good luck with that.
I got Tombs to raid. You know. Alright, but that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Okay. Whew. I go pee.
Okay. How's everyone in chat doing?
Ow. Cardboard on the floor.
Got a lot of people coming and going today. All the Danganronpa games are wonderfully self-aware. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. They're really self-aware, but they don't. It never overstays its welcome. Like, I was talking about it last week, I think, or it was on Pup, where, you know, they make fun of themselves in the first game for not having a big. They say, you know, you don't even need a big budget to make games. You know, if you don't have a lot of money, you could just make a visual novel. Wink. You know, it's like, it's that sort of stuff where it's never really annoying or it's never really precious, but it's funny, and it's sort of, it's ribbing itself, or like the British might say, it's sort of taking the piss, you know, for itself. And I think that's really, actually, now I'm talking about it, it reminds me a lot of the Yakuza games, where you have some silly fun stuff really well balanced with the serious drama stuff. And it does really well. D-Voice, I hope you can watch the anime somehow. I know it is available places. Eyebrows. Because it's really great, and it wraps up that whole arc really nicely. I remember them making a joke about Phoenix Feathers not working at cutscenes. Yeah, that was a really good one too. Yeah, Danganronpa is really good. I'm sort of excited to play V3 and then sort of put the series to bed for a little bit, because that's why I didn't play Ultra Despair Girls, is because I don't really want to get burnt out on the series, because I don't want to get to the end of V3 and be like, oh, thank God I'm done. Like, I don't even know if I'll buy 4, you know, day one, but I'm excited to be done with V3 and play as much of that as I want to. I don't know what extras are. Now that V3's been out for a little bit, I don't even want to look at wiki pages or something, because so many people just throw out you know, like, oh, this character was actually really this character. And it's like, man, I'm still in the prologue. Like, so I haven't even seen, you know, what stuff unlocks afterwards or any of that stuff. So I'll play as much of that as I really need to, and then I was thinking about going back to Horizon Zero Dawn, but so many people are talking about so much good stuff with Assassin's Creed Origins that I feel like I really need to play that. And I'm hopefully gonna get to that next. Plus, I feel like after some visual novels, maybe the polar opposite of those are gonna be an open world Assassin's Creed game, probably. I was looking for something playing Hope's Peak a little bit more. Yeah, I think if you played the first two and you liked it, I think the anime of 3 is gonna be really good. I really enjoyed that. And that's like, Mina has been trying to get me to play these games, and like I said last week, like I have the cartridge on the Vita for Danganronpa 1 sitting right here, so like I have them. It's also, oddly enough, sitting next to my copy of 999. And oddly enough, a cartridge of Mother 3, which I still haven't started. Moonpier popping through.
Every time I sit down, it makes that noise.
That's alright. Oh, man. I found the anime. I take you recommend the dub. No, I recommend the sub. The dub, I don't think. Yeah, subbed. Yeah, sub is actually really good. I didn't realize until I looked it up after I was on the whole Hope Speak Academy. I looked at some wiki stuff. I didn't realize the woman who voices Monokuma in the Japanese version also voiced Doraemon from the like 70s and 80s anime, which I guess they sort of, part of what I love about Danganronpa is it reminds me a lot of like some of the best Metal Gear stuff, where it's playing with your expectations, and apparently they had her voice Monokuma at the beginning of stuff like that character to sort of say like, oh, this is really weird, like that sounds like this beloved children's friendly anime character, and then she starts twisting it and morphing it into what Monokuma really is.
Interesting.
So good. And now that Moonpier has a PC, all the 3 Danganronpa games are on PC.
No.
Wink.
Wink. Where's Steam Link?
Yeah, you gotta wait for that Steam Link first, though. Is your PC is on wireless?
Yes, it is.
I'm curious to see how Steam Link will work for you, because my PC is wired and my Steam Link is on wireless, and it's fine, but I've heard a lot of people saying that both ends of theirs are on wireless, and it's buttery smooth. So,
well, where it would be sitting is, I think it's about 4 feet away from the router.
Oh, okay.
So it would literally be a case of it's so close to the actual router. Yeah. It wouldn't be too bad. But
I meant to ask D-Voice in chat, did you play the Zero Escape series? Because Monokuma reminds me of 03 from Virtue's Last Reward.
How do I get this to do what I want?
Yeah. Alright, I'm ready to kick this thing off whenever you are. I was just looking up at pricing of Sims 4 on PS4, and it's still like $40, which...
A little bit on the expensive side.
A little bit. I would probably pretty happily pay like $30 for a download version of that, so I'd always have it on my PS4, but $40 for a disc is sort of...
A little bit on the expensive side.
It's $50 download. Blech. And they already have 3 DLC add-ons. Sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course they do. Why wouldn't they?
Oh, that hurt. Yeah. Got those vaping hiccups.
Yep. It happens to me occasionally, like specific flavors and stuff.
Really?
I can't have specific flavors because the second I do that, I just start hiccuping like crazy.
That's funny. I wouldn't have expected that.
My least favorite one was cinnamon.
Oh,
which
ouch.
it tasted fantastic. It was really nice. It was fine. Gave me migraines.
One of those things where it's like, why? Why would you do that to me?
Yep. It's just one thing about it, wherever it was, caused me to have migraines.
You're just liquid that turns into air. Be cool here.
Anyway, yes, I'm ready when you are.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of January 22nd, 2018. Iconoclasts comes out for PC, OS X, PS4, and Vita. Moonpeer and I watched a trailer of this before we started recording, and both of us were like, oh, yeah.
Yep, pretty much. I think the first thing I said was, this makes me think of Alex Kidd, but for the record, folks, I love Alex Kidd. I think it is an amazing game. I think the people who hate Alex Kidd are just flat out incorrect.
They're just bad and wrong.
Alex Kidd is the mascot Sega deserved.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, it looks cool. It almost looks like the trailer we watched was sort of split up into 2 parts. The first one was, oh, here's like the intro area, and it looks like a Metrovania. And then the next one was, I'm going to supercharge a wrench with electricity and then start zipping through blocks. And it's like, this looks good. Yeah,
the art style, the music, it seems like it could be a really good quality game.
Yeah. So I've added that to our game club list because that thing looks cool. Next up is The Inpatient, comes out on PSVR. This is the, Sony showed this, I think, at last E3 2017. This is the prequel to Until Dawn. It's their first-person survival horror game. Looks terrifying. And it's in VR.
Yeah, that's because you're a wuss.
Yeah, well, yeah. I prefer chicken, please, thank you.
No, because chickens have positive correlation with PUBG's chicken dinner.
Oh, well, and they're delicious.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
I probably don't taste that great. But that seems fine. Lost Sphere comes out for the PC and Switch and PS4. This is made by the I Am Setsuna team. Seems like they're keeping the same battle system, the sort of Chrono Trigger inspired battle system. But from what I understand, it's not a direct sequel, but it's sort of a spiritual successor to I Am Setsuna. So we'll see how this one reviews. First one didn't do that great, so
yeah,
we'll see. Subnautica comes out on PC and OS X. I didn't realize this was part of the Xbox Game Preview program.
I literally forgot it exists until it was in our show notes.
This is that underwater adventure survival thing, right?
Yeah, I think I've heard it described as Astroneer but underwater, or Minecraft but underwater. Like that kind of game, 7 Days to Die but underwater. It's one of those games. Like, I'll see how it goes. If it ever comes out of Xbox Early Access, I might pick it up, but yeah, we'll see.
You already have Astroneer, so
yeah, and Minecraft and 7 Days to Die, and
right. Celeste comes out for PC, Switch, and PS4. I had heard this for a while, saying like, oh, you need to look at Celeste. This is like the next big indie game. And the trailer starts with, from the makers of Towerfall, it's a game about climbing a mountain. I was like, oh, this seems cool. Whoa, it's Super Meat Boy.
Yep. 100% Super Meat Boy vibes coming off that thing.
That looks really good. The art style is cool. It looks like it's one of those like pixel perfect, almost mean but really good platformers. And I have also added that to our game club list.
I'm getting too old for this stuff, dude. Like, I don't have the reflexes that I had when I was younger.
I feel like this might be the game where we play it in game club and we're like, okay, this is we're done with this genre. Can't hack it anymore.
We're too old for this.
Yeah.
Doo-doo.
Too old for this poops.
Yes.
Probably the most important release coming out on the 26th this week, Monster Hunter World comes out on PS4 and Xbox One. Moonpeer is the most excited. If you want to play it with Moonpeer, and sounds like the majority of people are playing it on Xbox One. So
yeah, I'm getting a lot of positive vibes on the Xbox One front, and I think Mackie's on the Xbox One as well. Friend of the show, Big Mackie. Heiko is from Germany, so he's on the Xbox One as well.
Yep.
So if you're EU times and you're worried about not being able to get in touch with those Yankee Doodle Dandies over here, then we do have a few people over there who I'm sure would be fine playing as well.
Yeah. And there's a Monster Hunter channel on the Discord server now. So if you want to meet up with some peeps and kill some monsters, hop in on that. And it's coming out on the PC in fall. They recently said they said they.
Sorry, Mina.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate they came out and they said, look, we want to put out a really good PC version. We want to make sure we spend a ton of time optimizing it. We want to put out like the best version we can on the PC. It's just going to take us a bunch of time. And it's like,
yeah, great.
Like, you want to come out and say that? Great. Instead of being like, yeah, it comes out in fall. See you later. You know, that's the part that sucks. But I'm glad they came out and said we just want to come out with a good version. So kudos to them. Last but certainly not least, Dragon Ball Fighters comes out for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I recently found out that is not Dragon Ball Fighter Z. It's Dragon Ball Fighters. And that in the way that Mortal Kombat X hurt my heart, this hurts my heart.
Yeah, the game looks incredible. Like I will probably end up picking it up at some point just to support the developers who I can't remember the name of.
Arc System Works.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll probably pick it up at some point just to support them. If I play it, I will do what I do with every beat 'em up game or every fighting game. I'll play the campaign once, really enjoy it, and then get demolished doing everything else in the game and decide to never play it again.
Have you seen the clips that are flying around Twitter of the dramatic finishes?
I have not. The only clip I've seen on Twitter was and people said Yamcha was bad, and then it's Yamcha stomping Cell everywhere on the fight.
Yeah, that was a good clip. But basically, the dramatic finishes are you will beat your opponent, and then if it's the right matchup, and it seems like it happens sort of randomly, your opponent will get back up and like try and finish you off in a cutscene, but it will in-engine reenact a famous scene between those two characters from the anime.
Oh, this is Frieza versus Goku when Goku first becomes Super Saiyan.
Yep. And like at the end of the match, that will just happen. It's only like maybe 30 seconds max, but it's just like they look so good. I can't wait to see that game played in like esports tournaments where that happens, and it's just like an extra level of screw you because I won.
Yeah. Oh.
This game looks really good.
Oh no.
I know, it's going on my wish list. I can't afford $60 games, but if I could, man, I would play the heck out of that game for a little bit and really love it and be bad.
I'm not spending $120 the week after I built a PC. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I need to talk myself out of this.
Monster Hunter is a non-negotiable, so...
Yeah, that's already bought and installed, so yes.
Perfect. There you go. Alright, let's move over to news stories. Nintendo announces the Nintendo Labo, is how I believe it's pronounced.
Yeah, I've heard... didn't see anything to do with this, but I've heard a lot about it on Twitter and people not being happy. Why?
Oh, God. So I'll tell you why I'm super excited. They put out a really cool trailer. It's maybe like 2.5 minutes. And basically what it is there's a game that accompanies a large sheet of cardboard where you poke out cardboard pieces and then you build this thing that you then put your Switch and your Joy-Cons into. The stuff they show are like a robot, a piano where you're hitting the piano keys and it's playing music through your Switch. They show you building. There's two sets. There's basically like a beginner set where it's some of that stuff, and then there's a robotics set where you're basically using that stuff and your Switch and like pieces of plastic and rubber bands to create like moving robots, and using logic in the game in the Switch to build some robotics. Jimbo Jango says the lava reminds me of old Tool music videos.
Yeah, sorry for the disruption. That line is just so perfect.
Very accurate.
I mean, okay, so that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like Nintendo being Nintendo. Like,
Yep.
it sounds like, here's this thing we've got. What can we do that's very ingenious with it?
Yeah. I think the thing that number one, I think it's expensive, and I think you have to have, you need to either understand that your young kids are going to destroy it because it's cardboard, or you buy it for the right aged kids, or you just realize, yo, I'm in my 30s and I'm gonna buy this cardboard, I'm gonna build a robot, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Each one of those sets is $70.
Mm.
That's at the end of the day, it's cardboard, and it is a little expensive, but I think for me, what seems so attractive is when we were growing up, we had like the Lego Connects stuff, you know, where you're building, and like I think it's Mindstorm now, where you're like building robotic stuff, and you can use some very rudimentary programming languages to make it walk or pick stuff up or stuff like that. To me,
for my UK compatriots, that would be mechanics with an X.
Yes, mechanics. I was trying to remember what that was called. But it seems cool because you're taking tablets that kids already love, and the Switch, which they already love, and then building, moving, working stuff with the Switch and with this cardboard. And to be fair, it's probably only a matter of time before people start 3D printing.
Literally,
these
that was the
pieces.
first thing I was thinking was, how long till someone 3D prints it and sells each set for like $20 3D printed.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like you need to have the cartridge either way to get the whole thing working, which is fine. But I don't know. To me, when I saw people being like, "This is dumb, I wouldn't buy this," it's like, then it's not for you. Like, this is the problem we have, let's say, in society, but that's a larger problem than we can fix right now. But let's say in gaming, it's okay for something to not be for you.
Yeah.
I don't like
100%.
sports games. I'm not going to be upset that a sports game came out. I don't care. People are gonna, like, I'm excited for this thing to come out. I don't have a Switch, so I'm certainly not going to spend like $370 to build a cardboard robot. But it's super cool that it's coming out, even though it's not for me. And if you're bummed that Nintendo's doing something fun and creative like this, then I don't know what to tell you. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's a symptom of a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Shall we say.
And at some point, like, we need to get more kids into programming and robotics. Like, kids need to get into STEM stuff as early as possible, especially young girls. This is a really good entry point for, if you liked building this robot and you like teaching it how to walk, here's some cool programming languages. Like, let's start making your own games out of twine. Like, this could be the spark that really helps a lot of young kids get their start with some cool tech. Yeah,
this, I mean, you hear it talked about a lot these days. Like, I mean, you look at people like Robin Williams, and his daughter's named after the Zelda.
Yeah.
You know, these are things that inspire generations to come, like young or old. So, like you said, if it's that step that one kid needs to have this to take them into a future where they are building the machine which gives me food for free every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
My food printer.
Take that step.
Yeah.
I will gladly have Nintendo release this, even though it's not for me, as long as I can get my tablet, I can stick in the microwave and have a chicken dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think that looks really cool, but we'll see. It comes out in April. So we'll see how that goes. Probably pretty quickly. I'm hoping we'll see a bunch of cool YouTube stuff. People saying like, "Oh, I actually built a walking tower out of this."
I can't wait for the backlash when Nintendo says they're not doing anymore. Everyone's like, "Oh, did you run out of cardboard stock?"
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. Let's talk about a PC gaming company called Bullfrog that is near and dear to both Moonpeer and my hearts. Rest in peace, Bullfrog. They made this incredible game in the 90s called Theme Hospital. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It is very much a god game where you are tasked with running a hospital and you are tasked with fixing things that are not real ailments like giant heads.
Yep.
And the game was really great, and we got one of them, and Bullfrog didn't make it too much longer after that.
I honestly think without games like this, you wouldn't have The Sims.
Exactly.
Because the sense of humor in it, the over-exaggeratedness of it, like you said, the cure for the giant heads was a doctor walked in and poked them with a nail, and the head deflated like a balloon and made that sound effect.
Yeah, and then they reinflated their head back to normal size.
Yep. And, you know, that sense of humor, that thing, that is exactly what led to games like The Sims.
Yep.
You know, and poor Bullfrog.
Yeah. And what's really great, and why we're bringing it up, is there's a company called 2 Point Games that is founded by two of the original creators from Bullfrog of Theme Hospital, and they're making a new one called 2 Point Hospital. And looking at the trailer and screenshots, it
sure looks like a theme hospital.
Yeah, like what's great is it's just a new theme hospital. And, you know, stuff like Prison Architect has been really popular over the last couple years, thanks a lot to Twitch streamers, but also because there hadn't been a game like that wasn't The Sims, where you're sort of tasked with building like an establishment. There hasn't been a game like that for a while, and it might be a really good time for Theme Hospital to come back.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they do it justice. I hope they have the same sense of humor, and I hope they get the core elements right, which is the sense of humor of it is definitely one of the main things.
Yeah,
but also the original Theme Hospital did the same thing that what's that cooking game called that I've been playing? Overcooked did. Yeah. Where it's always one too many plates. There is always one too many plates.
Nothing is ever going. You can't just sit back and be like, "All right, my hospital's running fine." You know, I've solved it. There's always something is going wrong.
Yeah. And here comes a helicopter with 1,000 people who all have inflated heads.
Yeah.
Go.
I can't.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm very excited. That's going to be something I'm going to watch pretty closely. I hope it comes out pretty soon.
I hope they still have the trick where if you get rats, you pick up the vending machine, put it in front of the rat hole, and the rats go away.
Yeah,
I forgot. They just need to have that there, just as a little quick reference for.
Yep. It never broke the game. It was just sort of like, I'm going to solve this problem.
Yeah, you've got rats. Bloop, 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 done.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good. Next news story here. There's a rumor that Microsoft may be looking to improve the Xbox Elite controller with sort of a brand new version of the controller.
Yeah, because I didn't go out and buy a new one recently.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, you might be interested in these improvements that are rumored. Running down the list, Windows 10 Bluetooth support. That'd be nice.
Good.
USB-C port. Sure. Built-in battery pack. 2 thumbs up.
Disagree with that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even as like an option?
I mean, if it's an optional thing and they still have the slot for like your own batteries to be in there,
right? That's
fine. If it's just an inbuilt battery and it's not my own batteries or my own battery pack that can go in there, then I'm not interested in the slightest. Yeah. I've seen too many PlayStation controllers that cannot be
It lasts for 30 minutes.
Yeah. It cannot be played unless it's wired in because the battery pack has died.
Yeah.
You know?
Adjustable thumbstick tension. That could be pretty
good. That's actually that's a really nice one. Especially for games like Siege. Siege is a perfect example of that, where you just increase the tension a little bit because your instant reactions are a little too quick. So you spin too quick, increase the tension, perfect.
3-level hair trigger locks. That could be cool.
It's actually kind of useful because right now you run into a problem when games like Battlefield that's shooting and vehicles. If you have your locks in, it does the dead stop pull. So you pull it, you fire it, great. You get in a car, you pull accelerate, and you go
like 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got to go through the whole rigmarole of going in and then turning that throttle sensitivity on that trigger so that it's fully pressed at that point.
Okay.
Got to go through that whole thing.
A switch to swap between 3 preset profiles.
I love the existing one, but that only has 2, so that's actually a really nice feature.
Longer key travel for the paddles.
I don't know what that means.
I think that just means they pull farther.
Okay,
yeah. They travel farther when you pull them, maybe?
It would make sense because when I've got mine in, I do hit them, and it's literally like a millimeter, and they're depressed. So it's like, oh, I'm in Elite Dangerous now, I'm ejected.
Right.
Nope, that was a mistake.
And last but certainly not least, new grips that are allegedly more resistant to wearing down.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for saying that. Like right after, you know, mine, I complained about my grips peeling off and buy a new one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I sort of assumed there was that was the reason why you bought the new ones, but
long way around. Well, short story, yes. Long wait, no.
Okay. And last news story here, another rumor. Rumor is that the Forza Horizon team, Playground Games, might be working on a new Fable game.
I don't know how I feel about this. However, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to say anything negative about it, because who would have thought that, what was it, Creative, I can't even remember the name, the team who did Alien Isolation had never worked on a first-person game before.
Right.
So I ain't going to say anything about that. Like Creative Commons or something? No, that's a licensed tape.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember. But yeah. My bummer is I sort of infamously don't like the Fable series. And I really like Forza Horizon. So I'm not entirely sure. I never like saying, well, I'm going to get a Fable instead of a Forza Horizon, but I don't think I've seen Playground Games going on a hiring spree, so I would like Forza Horizon 4 very much, and a new Fable is a much harder sell for me. I think that world is fine, and I think you could make a really good Fable game. I just didn't like any of the first 4 of them. They made 4, right?
I believe so, yes. If you include the Connect one, but then if you include the downloadable ones, they probably made like 6.
Yeah. So I think the thing you need to do with Fable is an important franchise for Microsoft and for the Xbox as a platform. I feel like if you want to bring Fable back, you'll do it right by just putting a whole new team of just newbies on it and saying, go make a really good Fable game, figure out what that means. And clearly they can make great games because Forza Horizon 3 is outstanding. Yeah.
Flip side of this, no Molyneux. Maybe this is the Fable game for Boston.
Yeah, possibly, because I mean, part of the reasons why I never liked Fable is nothing about them really clicked with me. People loved them, and I can appreciate the reasons why, but none of them is... It's like some people, when they start to play Skyrim, they're just like, oh, this is all there is? And it's like, yeah, isn't it incredible? And they're like, no. Thank you? It's like, oh, okay. Well, that did not click with you at all.
Nope.
So... I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic because, like I said, Playground Games has made all 3 Forza Horizon games, I think.
I think so, yes.
And all 3 of them have been really good. 2 was probably the weakest of the 3, but it was still a really good game.
I can't help but think, is this them asking for something different? Because yeah, Horizon 2, and Horizon 3 have all been really solid step-ups. Like, just like the OG Forza games were.
Yeah.
Like, 1 was great, 2 was better, 3 was perhaps perfection for Forza. Like, just that right amount of content and new evolution without feeling like it's just another sequel. Like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, and 7 have
diminishing returns.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder if this is them saying, okay, we peaked. This is amazing. This is incredible. We did the DLC for the drift stuff, which is the snow. We got Hot Wheels license. That's a dream come true.
You're welcome.
So,
well, you might have a point too, because the Forza Horizon games all came out pretty quickly. Like Forza Horizon 1 came out pretty late in the 360's life cycle, and Forza Horizon 2, that was a 360 game, right?
Yeah, 2 and 3 were 360 games. I'm pretty sure 4 was cross-platform, and I think...
No, I meant Forza Horizon.
Oh, Horizon?
Yeah.
2 was cross-platform. 2 had a 360 and an Xbox One release.
Yeah, I think you might have a point where they might be going to Microsoft and be like, "Hi guys, can we make something like crazy different? Like, can we make an RPG?" And they're like, "I don't know, yeah, Fable? How's that sound?" They're like, "Yeah, we'll take it. Great. See you later." Like that, you might have a good point where it's just like, we could make Forza Horizon 4, or we could make more Forza Horizon 3 DLC. That game is still selling well, and the DLC is still selling well. Can we please, God, just make something different?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I certainly don't blame them.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes like you need that kind of thing. It's like Bungie. They needed to not make another Halo game.
Yeah.
So they didn't make another Halo game. They didn't get what they wanted, so they took the nuclear option.
Yeah.
You know, whereas this might be a good sign of, we need to make something else. Everybody's clamoring for new games. Just give us something else to do.
Yeah. Let's move on to questions with a very appropriately timed question from T-Bomb Rocks in Discord. What's a classic game or game series that's beloved by most, but you just can't get into?
Oh.
For me, Fable is probably a classic at this point. But you know, I never really got into the first StarCraft game, and everyone loved that, and I never got it.
Yeah, I absolutely can't stand StarCraft. I'm not a huge fan of Command and Conquer. The only good Command and Conquer is Red Alert, and that's just because the story on them was so bonkers that they're just so entertaining.
I can get behind that. I liked the original Command and Conquer, but I feel like that is very much a time and place thing. Like, if you got it when it first came out, it was revolutionary, but if you didn't, like, Red Alert was the good series.
And, like, my favorite real-time strategy has forever been Dune 2000.
Yeah.
But that's not because I love the genre, that's because I love that world. That's a fiction over function kind of thing.
Right. Classic game or game series beloved by most. You know, I could never really get into, and I'll commit the mortal sin of suggesting it because now someone will have to go install it, is the original Deus Ex.
Not a big fan of it.
I kept trying to get into it, and I ran into the same problem with the first one that I did with the first one of the new series. Is I finish the first mission and it lets me loose and I just stop. Like I get frozen. For some reason that didn't happen with me and Mankind Divided, the second one, whichever one that one was. Yeah,
Mankind Divided.
Yeah, that game was great. When it let me loose, I was like, sweet freedom, this is incredible. But all the other ones, I'm sort of like, I gotta quit. I gotta go.
God of War, never been a fan of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing a PlayStation at the time that came out. I didn't have access to those games. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of character action games. Like, that type of game is not my type of game. So I'm not a huge fan of them. Even though, you know, I love Bayonetta. Like, I absolutely adore Bayonetta.
Bayonetta's great.
That's widely regarded as one of the greatest character action games ever made.
Yeah.
You know, whereas I know God of War and God of War 2 are in that category as well, but they just never sat well with me, and I don't know if it was just the design or something about them just didn't stick with me, but I've just never really had the want to go into them.
Well, I feel like if God of War is another time and place one too, where like if you played it on launch, is the best looking game on that console hands down, and it controlled really smoothly and it moved really fast, and like you said, then Bayonetta came out and everyone's like, oh, and it's sort of like if you didn't follow that progression, then you played Bayonetta and you went back to check out some God of War games and you're like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like these are fine, but Bayonetta, guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at the time as well, I think I was busy getting into possibly Neverwinter Nights on the PC.
Pretty similar games, yeah.
And at the time, someone was trying to show me it, and I was just like, no, I don't care. I don't care about no God of War. I got my Dungeons and Dragons RPG over here. Thank you very much.
I have this isometric 4-person party RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else that maybe we haven't sort of beaten to death on the show over the years.
I mean, you can pretty much put any of the old school first-person shooters up there for me because I don't have the nostalgia, I don't have the history. Hexen, Heretic, Doom, Wolfenstein, all of these games, I don't care for them. Yeah, I don't care for them. I don't like them. Yeah. So, you know, that's,
go ahead.
I was just going to say that's just a lack of nostalgia thing, though, for me.
Yeah.
I don't have that history with them, so therefore I don't really care for them.
I mean, it's hard to go back to some of those games, too, because for so many reasons, they're so dated. Like, you could go back and play something like Quake 2 or Quake 3, and I think you can see, like, it'd be like going back to play GoldenEye. It's like, all right, I can sort of see, you know, I can see what this is going on, but, like, you play Doom 1, especially if you're going to play it fresh, it's sort of like, yeah, like, I can't even move the mouse. Like, the mouse doesn't work in this.
Exactly.
You can't jump. Like, it's so... The design of it is so old, I guess, at this point. You know, we've come so far with so many different things.
Yeah. Now, my opposite version of that is Perfect Dark Zero. That is a good game. I will not listen to anybody saying it's not.
Yeah. That's one of those games that, like, people just wanted to hate. I have no idea why. It's not a bad game.
No.
I just... Yeah, I don't know. The hill I will die on is Alpha Protocol. To me, that has this. People have the same attitude with that, where it's like, this game's bad. It's like, you haven't even seen anything from it. You've just heard that one person said it was bad. Anyway, I've died on the hill so many times. His second question is, the buzz around Nintendo Labo seems to be mostly positive. If Microsoft or Sony would have done this first, do you think it would be well received?
No.
Yeah, I know that sounds like us sort of dismissing it out of hand, but like let's start with Sony. If they would have done it, they would have pooched it right out of the gate. It would have been...
I give you E3 press conference, the magic books.
Oh, God, that's right. We had one of those at my last job, and it was always sort of like, can someone get this magic book off of my desk, please?
Yep. That's why you wouldn't trust Sony, and nobody trusts Microsoft, period, so...
And I think one of the things that Nintendo does really well that Sony and Microsoft still can't do as well is they put out a good trailer. Like, that Labo trailer starts off simple, and they start building more stuff, and then they show you don't forget you can paint the cardboard and you can put stickers on it, and it's just sort of like it expands, and you're just like, I want one of these because I don't know what I don't know where the limits are. And Sony would have come out and be like, look, it's $150 for cardboard, and was like, yeah.
For all of the TVG parents listening, if you get your children one of these, first time they misbehave and you threaten them with one of these, I want to see a photo of one in a barbecue that's already been painted, like all painted and stickered. Yay, fun project. No, kid was naughty. I want to see one of these on a barbecue.
That'd be great. I think Microsoft's big failing, and they've had this big failing ever since they came out with, I'm going to go way back, with Windows 3.1. They put out...
Hold on, let me just get my time machine out here.
Yeah, 1993. They for their entire history, they have put out a great product that the 1.0 is fundamentally flawed in a major way. Then they lose all of their marketing steam and credibility. Even when Zune cough, they put out a really good version the second time around that beats every other competitor, the Zune. They've made some dumb decision like the brown Zune that just the torrent of seawater rushes in and washes all of their good work away.
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't even realize that until literally you just said that. They've done it every single time.
Yep. Xbox.
Yeah.
The Zune. The Windows Bob. Windows
Xbox
98. One. I mean, like, you can go back so far, and every time... And it's so tough. I love Microsoft, and I've loved them for decades. Just every time they come out with something and you go, man, the Surface has such a great idea. They just need to change X, Y, and Z, and by the time the second or third product comes out, like the Surface 3, you go, hey guys, this one's good, and everyone goes, okay.
It's not an iPad.
Is it like the Zune? Sure, yeah, okay. And it's like, no,
Which,
but okay.
That makes me laugh because that's literally every single person I know who uses tablets on a frequent basis. Like, there's artists I follow on Twitter, there's people who talk about this kind of stuff. Every single one of them loves the Surface Pro 3. Like, absolutely,
it's so good.
Adores it.
And the Surface
all I
One
hear
was so bad.
all normal people talk about is the iPad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, that is, so Microsoft would come out with this product, and I bet the first run of products, 75% of them would work, and 25% of them would have a printing error, where the cardboard didn't work. Or
one of the little pushy out bits just doesn't come out. And
no one would let it down that Microsoft couldn't get cardboard right.
Yeah. And also just...
That would be it.
By the way, the whole Microsoft thing, I've just realized that they did it with the glass thing as well. Yep. Whatever it's called.
The AR things.
Yeah.
Not Smart Glass. Smart Glass is another one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The Xbox 360 app was great. Smart Glass is ingenious.
God.
They literally do it with everything. I never even thought about that until you said it.
Yep. That's been Microsoft's problem ever since they started putting stuff out in the 70s and 80s. They put out stuff too early, and they refine it, and it's too late.
Can they put out a cure for world hunger that's slightly problematic, and then version 2 is great?
Yeah, like they come out with world hunger, and it's like Soylent, but it just doesn't taste like anything, and everyone's like, I mean, sure, it's free, but it just doesn't taste like anything. I don't really want it.
Yeah.
All right, last question here from Dimebag315 in Discord. Hey guys, I saw two movies. One was really bad, and both starred Dane DeHaan, and they both made me want to play games that reminded me of them. A Cure for Wellness made me want to play Dark Souls because of the scenery and Evil Within. And the bad movie Valerian made me want to play Mass Effect. Hey, don't crap talk Luc Besson. He made Fifth Element one of the best movies of all time.
I'm completely sorry. He is 100% correct in this. Dimebag, I got your back. Valerian is a pile of hot garbage.
That's fair. But
also, for the record, Fifth Element is incredible. Leon the Professional is his masterpiece.
I can get behind you on that. Fifth Element is probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's one of the greatest movies of all time. That's why.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's dumb. I love it. Just wondering, what movie have you seen that reminded you of a game you wanted to play?
Valerian's actually a really good example. I picked up Andromeda again after watching Valerian because I was so disappointed with
the taste out of your
Valerian. The main thing, shout out to Harlow for putting it in words I couldn't, not without 20 minutes of thought. There is no chemistry between those two actors, the lead male and the lead female.
Oh, it's like Star Wars Episode 2, where it's like, cool, I have two cardboard standouts talking to each other.
I don't like sand.
Yeah.
I hate that line so much.
Such a bad line.
But yeah, Valerian did that for me. I actually went back and played Mass Effect. Watching Fast and Furious made me want to play Forza, which is perfectly timed because they released a Fast and Furious Forza.
That's right.
So that worked out quite well.
I'm trying to think. I watch so few movies that I feel like the intersection, the Venn diagram between these two things is just, they're separate. And they're not even touching.
I mean, I can't even think of any time that I've done it previously. Like, I watch movies a fair bit, but generally speaking, I usually watch them before bed or something like that. So there is no immediate thing in my head that connects it to anything else. I think it did do
like a lot of comedies, so
yeah,
we don't have a lot of comedy games.
Side note: I really want to see Blockers. That looks incredible.
I haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen the trailer for it, you need to watch the trailer for that.
Okay.
I did do it with Band of Brothers and the World War II game that's not Medal of Honor and it's not Call of Duty. It's the other one done by Gearbox.
Oh, what was it?
Brothers in Arms.
Yes.
I did it with Band of Brothers and Brothers in Arms. I played Brothers in Arms.
Brothers in Bands in Arms.
Yes. I played one while watching the other because it was one of those things. It's like, I really enjoyed that setting at that time, and Band of Brothers is probably one of the greatest TV shows ever.
Yeah.
And that just inspired me to want to play a Second World War game, and it was the only one I hadn't played, so I tried it. And hey, guess what? They're really, really good.
I've heard that, yeah. I've never seen Band of Brothers because I really don't like watching war movies or war TV shows. Like, there's something about them where I just watch them and I'm like, I don't enjoy any of this. Like, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
In general, I agree, but the ones I've seen all tend to be like top of the class ones.
Yeah.
The one with Andrew Garfield, where he's another American. I can't remember the name of that one. Hacksaw Ridge?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Hacksaw Ridge, I think it was.
We're like the worst two people to ask about movies.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the questions we have this week, and that's our episode for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. All the links to all the stuff are on the right-hand side of the page. Don't forget to join our Discord, especially if you're looking to play some PUBG with some peeps, some Monster Hunter. If you want to talk about Marvel Puzzle Quest, the Marvel Puzzle Quest channel is going crazy all hours of the day. I'll wake up after sleeping and I'll be like, there's 30 new messages in here. Like, that's...
Yep.
If you want to start playing it, people will foster you. There's
hot strats. Yeah,
hot strats. That's a great time. Patreon.com/E1M1. Get some cool behind-the-scenes stuff. If you join now, you can hang out with me later while I edit stuff. Moonpier might be there if it's not too late. Some other peeps. Who knows? A Game Club game for this month. The Mummy Demastered. Starts a new one, so we have a whole month to play that. PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Watch us on Twitch and YouTube. Those links are on the right-hand side of the page as well. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
I peaked. Three titles. What's up?
I peaked. Oh, my waveform.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. The editor will fix it in post.
I've got like 8 titles, by the way.
Oh, good. All right. Well, let's start with you as always.
Millipede of Cars. Something to do with toucans. It's Fair. Surprisingly really great. Hot Mess Report. A Drill something. Visual Novel Librarian. It's Your Boy Mario. And Nichest of the Niche.
Visual Novel Librarian. That's dumb. And It's Your Boy Mario.
Jimbo Jangles in chat, get that magic book off my desk.
Oh, that's a good one too. Probably won't work, but get that magic book off my desk. Alright, I have SEAL Team 2, which I really like. Get In, Get the High Score, Get Out. Brothers in Bands in Arms. And then the ones you just said were Millipedes and Cars, Hot Mess Report, Visual Novel Librarian, and It's Your Boy Mario.
I'm torn between SEAL Team 2 and It's Your Boy Mario.
I feel like It's Your Boy Mario is a better title because it's making fun of a lot of YouTubers. Not that I want to make fun of them, but that's always like, it's your boy, this guy. Like, comment, subscribe. 3 minutes later, all right, let's get to the meat of the video.
Yeah, I'm definitely fine with that. Also, I love the impression of you being a hip-hop Mario.
Yo, it's your boy Mario. Like, comment, subscribe. YouTube.com/
You do know I'm going to have to say like, comment, subscribe now, don't you?
Probably. Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 535 for January 22nd, 2018. It's your boy, Mario.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Show us hit a new low.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, thank you so much, everyone, for watching live or watching the archive or whatnot. As always, you are the best community. Thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.